What's up? Bradleyaidanjohnson here with a video, and I think I'm going to make this one quick because I normally don't, but I'm going to make this one quick on trans fats. Trans fats are like the dietary boogeyman of the new fitness YouTube wave. Kind of like squat depth is the training boogeyman of the YouTube fitness movement. It's like, it's the thing that people seem to know. I guess maybe a part of me, it may be partly as well. Yeah, maybe, but no, I think more trans fat. I don't know. So this is a toss up between trans fats and aspartame. Which one of these is the bigger demon? Like, I think trans fats because that's a real one, and squat depth is a real one. So yeah, let's ignore aspartame. I already done that video anyway. So like, trans fats are a thing that terrify people. They're always talking about them. It's a good thing to say, like, oh, trans fats. It's like, it means you know a little bit about nutrition. It means you're thinking about your diet, and it means you're scared of something like, oh, I've got to avoid it. And I just wanted to put it in perspective. Like, before you got into this whole fitness thing, without realizing it, you were eating a bunch of trans fats, which were simultaneously more than you think, but probably not as much as you think now that I've said it. There are less trans fats in what you were probably eating, being a normal person, just eating whatever, than you think now that you think back on it and you're like, oh my God, look what I ate. But there's more than you would have, like, you know, if had the choice, would have elected maybe to consume. And you know, you went about it and you were eating and it wasn't great, but you were fine. Trans fats have more or less been, you know, proved. Yeah, it's quite rare in the whole nutrition world that we link something to something and then we're like, oh no, wait, actually, no, that definitely is bad. That definitely does that. Trans fats is one of those rare occasions where it's like, no, really, trans fats do lead to coronary heart disease. That is like, that's a thing. But again, since people don't know the numbers and the amount of trans fats you need to eat and all the factors that go in and all the different health markers that would need to be associated with that, it's not really as bad as you think. They are bad, but again, it's this whole correlation causality thing. Because the thing that you're afraid of, because, oh wait, just to pause, trans fats have been linked to other things like even Alzheimer's disease. But when people link things, it's the problem with has been linked to is just ignore that. That's that garbage. Like, has been linked to. Stick with proven does this. Like, we know protein leads to muscle synthesis. We know that. We know fat consumption leads to hormone production. We know that. We know carbohydrates lead to energy. We know that. We know that trans fats leads to coronary heart disease. We know these things. Has been linked to is just something that people say and just I ignore has been linked to. That's just, I was bored. I wanted to do a study. I hope I get some funding. I hope this research leads to something good. So I ignore that shit. Forget that. So you're worried about coronary heart disease. But the problem with worrying about coronary heart disease is it makes me wonder, are you a little bitch? Because you're not going to get coronary heart disease if you are active and if you don't smoke and if you're active and if you pay anything like rough attention to your diet and if you're active. And by active, I mean like if you are a person that trains to any kind of intensity, and I post my training log videos, if you do anything that resembles that, like, and that's your life, you train, you know, every other day kind of thing, or, you know, couple days, or, you know, 3 or 4 days a week, 5 days a week. There's a bunch of people, practically my entire subscriber base is going to be doing that. It's not going to be coronary heart disease that gets you. It's not going to be that. So don't worry about it. You're going to find a little smidgen of trans fats in your Kit Kats and, you know, in your biscuits maybe, depending on where you get them from. If you get international major brand cakes and sweets and chocolate bars and stuff like that, as opposed to like, you know, specific store brand ones, you are more likely to get a few trans fats. If you have takeaways from lower quality establishments like your local takeaway as opposed to like a chain, you are much more likely to get trans fats, a smidgen of trans fats here or there, but really small amount. These you know, these have been pretty phased out. This is, you're gonna get a tiny little speck here and there, and it's just not worth thinking about when you're assessing the difference between junk food, and food that is generally considered to be healthy, especially in the sense of junk food is so much more expensive than food that isn't expensive, and this leads to another video which is coming. But that is a definite problem. Like, then your life will be negatively affected much more by the lack of funds as a result of spending money on junk food regularly then it will be by the hanging spectre of a disease you are likely not to get based on the remainder of your lifestyle from consuming trans fats. So when you go to Burger King, say, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, the Burger King has trans fats. I don't even know if Burger King has trans fats. I haven't, I'm not up with the list at the moment. You know, there's a lot of stores that just don't. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Pizza Hut doesn't have any trans. I can't remember. Anyway, let's say, for the sake of argument, Burger Champ, yeah, has some trans fats in their burgers, but they're delicious. So you go into thing and you get your burger. Now, you're gonna have some trans fats in that. Oh my god, I'm gonna get heart disease from this one burger. No. Like, I'm gonna get heart disease because I have a few burgers a month. No, you know, it's not gonna happen, right? But what is gonna happen is every time you buy that burger and it's expensive, it really is gonna take away from the money that you have for the remainder of your life, which is the money that pays for your children to go to college and have a deposit in their house and stuff like that. That will literally negatively impact on your life. But the trans fats, not so much. So I would look at it from that perspective. The money you waste on junk food is constantly beating your life down with a hammer. But the spectre of diseases that you get from fearing these foods and being a little bitch, in my opinion, is not so much. Generally, training is the antidote to everything that ails you. If you're like, oh, I'm worried about this, like, train harder. It will probably just work itself out. So that is my advice. If you're worried about trans fats, life is too short to worry about that shit. If you were eating so many trans fats, yeah, that it is a problem despite your level of activity, which should be insane if you're on my channel, and if not, fuck off my channel. I don't like people that don't train. If you're not eating that, if you're eating so many trans fats, that's the case, then you are spending so much money on junk food that you need to look at it from that perspective. You have a problem financially. So yeah, that's all I thought I'd say on that. That's it. Bradley Aidan Johnson. Peace.